So what kind of look are we coming up with?
So we're going for like an urban boho feel, I think.
A boho what?
Like a boho feel. Like
oh, boho feel.
Yeah, like funky, urban-y.
We're more like social friends.
Like, we spend a lot of time on shoots together, but rarely work together.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Testing on the saddle.
Yeah.
We're doing the saddle shoot
test on you if
first.
you stood right in the middle. That'd be great.
Yeah, you want me on that saddle? That'd be nice.
Yeah, on the saddle, but right in front of it. You know, take your position right there.
Well, take my position.
Yeah.
There, that's our subject.
Perfect.
So Craig, what kind of lights are you using right now?
What kind of what? Light setup?
Yeah.
Two lights, standard 2-light setup. A large softbox main and a beauty dish fill, about a 3-to-1 ratio. For right now, it's not exactly balanced with the ambient light coming in the window, but it makes for a nice fill all the way around, and it's still close enough to be tweakable if I need to in Photoshop or Lightroom. I may also dump the beauty dish fill and substitute with a rear quarter light in order to contour. Part of my style is to contour, so we use the large softbox as a main, and then as that light falls off as it goes around a limb like an arm or a leg or the face, as it falls off, this will come back in and fill exactly opposite from the large softbox, and so you'll have your correctly exposed, and then it'll fade away to shadow, and then about a third fill over here, so you get a nice contour to the facial features, limbs as like arms or legs or body, and it makes for a nice look. So I'll probably rotate between the two different styles. So.
Right on.
It's got that camera and he's moving around with it, so I'm like,
I get so stupid, I can't do it. I don't know how. Oh yeah, we're just laughing about that outside.
hey, we're all in the show.
So what's your go-to lens on this one?
It was going to be my 24-70 because I have a little bit more latitude and won't disturb folks back here in the back. But I just put on my 7200 2.8 so that I can see what my option is if I decide to go to that. Because I'm a sponge and I learn from the best at times, and I want to figure out what my options are from a lens choice standpoint. So I am going to pop off a couple of rounds back here from the back and see what my depth of field is and my width and height of view, both in horizontal and vertical format. So
You're also an artist too, a painter, and you've been doing that about the same length of time that you've been a photographer. And how does that help your photography?
I started in fine art when I was 6. I went to a summer recreation oil painting class with, I begged my mother to take me along at the age of 6. And finally on the third lesson for third class, she took me along and just told me to, you're to be seen and not heard. And she gave me paints and a canvas panel and brushes, and I proceeded to paint the still life that the teacher had set up, just like everybody else in the class did. Mostly middle-aged to older ladies, mature ladies. I was 6, so they were all old. But anyway, that's where it all started in 1955. So, 65. And I've been painting ever since. I started in oils, worked my way into watercolors and acrylics in college. Did some airbrush work from an illustrative standpoint. Freelance back in Vegas in the mid-'80s till 1990. and then moved out of Vegas and went to Colorado. But so as I moved geographical locations, as I moved from Vegas, it was Valley of Fire and Red Rocks and the desert and sunsets and roadrunners and coyotes and things like that. Moving to the high country of the Rockies in Colorado, it became elk and mule deer and red-tailed hawks, pronghorn antelope, geese, things like that. So I generally was taken in by the vistas of that new geographical location. So now, as I've been here in North Carolina for 9 years, it has been the hardwoods of the Smoky Mountains, the fall leaves, rivers, creeks, stream beds, things like that. But over my 37 years of knowing how to at least operate a camera, I generally used it for all my reference material for my fine art. And then got into photography, and then, as you know, 4 years ago, meeting you through David Simchak, I got into fashion and headshots and people and things like that, and it's really evolved, and I'm really it's in its infancy with me. I'm really still pretty new at it, and I'm always learning every day, and I love the challenge and I love the passion. So the fine art, I've been told that, and it's a great honor to hear this, that I've been told that my fine art seems to show in my photography from a compositional standpoint and content standpoint, and that's wonderful to hear, and it means a lot. So it's definitely been a basis to my fine art photography.
I'm Leanna Echeverri, Grateful Threads, Asheville, and what I do primarily is hemp, organic hemp clothing. I have a studio here in the Riverview Station with Duncan, and I also do a line of upcycled clothing. I call it salvage apparel. It's all stuff that's like from thrift stores, and it's kind of mashed up. So we'll mix those two things tonight. For instance, the first look at this skirt is a hemp skirt, and the top that I made is an upcycled piece.
So we have is that a few outfits we're gonna go through.
We have
or
4
just a mix of
total,
stuff?
and we'll see what we get through.
Well, right on. So tell me about the saddle over here that we're getting ready to shoot.
The saddle and the bridle I thought, were a good prop for something that I thought of as a kind of a Ralph Lauren kind of look. And it comes from the Krause family. She was nice enough to leave it out in front of her house and loan it to me.
Right. Wait, so there's a picture of Belle right outside the door here.
Cool. Well, that's her saddle.
Well, all right.
So I'll have to tag her.
Okay.
Having had some downtime here and that we can talk a little bit, it helps me understand where you want to go from a conceptual standpoint and what your end result wants to be. So it just kind of fill me in on what you are presenting and what we're shooting today.
Well, the first thing she's coming out in is kind of Ralph Lauren. She says she's got a very long skirt, and it's too long to wear, so we're going to cuddle it around her.
Wow, beautiful.
And then she's got kind of fitted, kind of a crop jacket, and then there's a cool hat. So that's what the saddle and the bridle is about, and then we'll move that stuff. There's a couple of other. I brought 4 things all together, not with the intention of necessarily getting through all 4, but just to make sure that we had some options.
So this is propish. This is prop, right? So it'll be a full stand, and then we'll fan it out, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Off to the left side there.
Yep, sure. However you want to set it up.
Well, we'll have her facing into the main light, and then open up back towards me straight ahead and things like that. And then we'll shoot a beauty dish fill on this side, and then we'll move the beauty dish back to the other.
Whatever that is, that sounds amazing.
Well, I mean, that's what we're doing.
You're in charge there, okay?
I got
I'll put the clothes on her.
There you go.
Tia's got
see?
the makeup handled.
Well, based on what Leanna brought to shoot with, clothing-wise, and for a reason, we decided to go with like a chic, boho, clean city girl look. So lots of glowy tones and earth tones, and just trying to play up all the things that's already on her face. That's already beautiful. Yeah! And now we're gonna do her hair.
So, Lupia, have you shot with or worked with any of these people we're working with tonight before?
I've worked with Tia before, and I've worked with you before, and I've worked with Leanna before. but that's it.
And you, when did you join the Asheville Model Network?
In March.
In March recently?
Yeah.
So since you joined, how many shoots have you been on, do you think?
Oh Lord, so many. I could not.
Because
I don't
that's
know.
since March, so.
Yeah.
I can't, who's the first person you shot with, photographer?
I think Rodney.
Rodney?
Yeah.
Yes.
So Tia, how long have you been doing a lot of makeup work with a lot of the local models and fashion events?
For almost exactly a year, actually.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. The last Fashion Mob, not Fashion Mob cover story, but the Fashion Mob before was my first interaction with the actual fashion scene.
So have you done, you worked on some fashion shows with the Color Me Goodwill? So how did that go?
Couture. It was amazing. I think the coolest thing about actual fashion scene is how infatuated we all seem to be with one another. So we constantly are driving each other's creativity and opportunity to have creative moments and have in turn built this amazing community.
We're good.
Creative
So you can stay.
It's amazing.
Yeah, here you go. We have to do it. We'll do it when they get started. No, I saw it.
It's the ice skating pirouette twirl and stop where everything keeps going.
I like the
Right.
That is so cool.
Take my shots and then open up. Yeah, so hip straight ahead and then slide twist into here and get that bridle in your hand so it can we'll just let it drop. We'll just hold it like it's casual and we'll let the reins come down up and ground in front of you or something like that. About every 3 seconds, okay? Beautiful. Head this way, head. There you go. Beautiful.
I used to zoom and put that on screen.
Yeah.
Beautiful. All right.
Amazing, Rain. Okay. Rain, your highlight is so gorgeous. We still have those gold on your face. These are so
Thanks, boss.
You're welcome.
Hang there.
Yeah, hold on.
Yep, we got it. We're good there. There.
Bottled water. Yeah, that looks pretty freakishly good.
Now you can just let it, now just all the way down, just let it hang.
Good shot, Craig.
I feel vindicated.
I smile. I smile a lot. A lot.
lean back like you were doing before and make sure it's not going to flash. Is that Bobby there, Craig? Is that anything?
Yeah.
Thing?
So I texted out if I need to. So
Okay.
I do.
I think it's good. I think we need this
Fine.
bottom part. Okay.
After this, with the hat,
Hat.
okay, do we have another set or is this it?
No, we do. We've got 3
Okay.
other changes.
So we'll do the hat
Over
on
with
here?
this in front of you. Tissue paper, not next. I have.
Need a clip?
Oh, you need like
Need a
a
clip?
like
What do you need?
Anything to fit here, a little something just to keep it from sliding down over.
A piece of foam? I don't have sticky back.
Anything that has even, you can even tape it in here.
So turn all the way to your right, all the way back, turn all the way back, and then boom. 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah. 1, 2, 3. That's it.
She's got this paper towel right here, so she can't lift her chin up too much and see it.
I MacGyvered it.
Well done, Tia.
So freaking gorgeous.
Alright, what's your Instagram?
1, 2, 3. One more time. 1, 2, 3. One more time. Right at me. Look right at me, right there. Nose right where it's at. Beautiful. There you go. So it's a twist at the waist. Okay. Work on centering up that top a little bit, please. Tia or somebody. Oh, I got this. Okay. And just stay there. Back. 1, 2, 3. One more time. Right into this leg. Okay, so lower left, one side up, and then 12, 3, 1, 2, 3. There you go. That's it. There you go. Back and forth with the band. There we go. There we go.
Hands out, like, yeah, girl.
Now look at me. Like, look at this. More, makes more back behind you. That looks like there. Out a little bit more. Out. Right there. Right there. Right there. Okay, look down to your left. There you go. Beautiful.
Good.
Yeah, I'm glad that you showed up with Greg because it's Greg in the dress.
That's
Awesome, great job.
I got my stockings on
I
today.
got my stockings
Anything
on
else?
today.
Think
I
of
got
this
some
way?
leggings in the car.
We're good.
Good.
Unless you guys, unless these guys.
Leggings.
We're good.
Yeah? Okay. All right.
So do your head.